Biogen is still really reviewing all the legislation that's come out of Europe in the last few months. I think in terms of our position on a landfill ban, it's not necessarily something we're particularly in favour of as a company. We're obviously very much promoting food waste recycling and getting it out of landfill and incineration. But I think there really needs to be more support perhaps to the producers of food waste to help them achieve that goal before we can start looking at banning it from landfill. There's a lot of investment needed in infrastructure like bins and vehicles that is really important, I think. We very much believe in the food waste hierarchy, so first of all we should try and reduce food waste as much as we can, and then if we can't do that, then any food waste that's edible should be suitable for reuse through charitable outreach programs like that. And then what we really want is for anything that's left, which is hopefully some of the more inedible, unavoidable food waste, is to put it into anaerobic digestion facilities so that we can maximise the value from it in terms of generating renewable energy and high quality fertiliser products. I think from our point of view, and probably the wider AD industry as well, it's very much a baseload form of energy. So while we aren't critical of other types of generating renewables, we obviously make the point that AD generates electricity and power all times throughout the year, when the wind isn't blowing and when the sun isn't shining. So it's very much a reliable source of energy, and there's wider benefits obviously as well to AD, not just related to energy generation. I think it's going to have quite an impact on companies that were looking to develop new facilities. I think it's going to probably discourage investors from committing to new projects. I think the uncertainty that the government's created is unhelpful in that respect, and certainly it's made Biogen reevaluate some of the opportunities that we were exploring. But certainly from our point of view, we feel there's a sufficient number of facilities to manage the food waste that's being generated in the UK. So in fact, in some parts of the country, you could argue that there's overcapacity in treatment. But yeah, it's interesting how the approach the government's taking, and hopefully there'll be a bit more sort of clarity in the next few months. What we'd be very supportive of is any additional funding that can be made available to local authorities to help them with the upfront costs of food waste collections. So there's a lot of councils throughout England really interested in collecting food waste. It's just they need the money to be able to invest in the vehicles and the bins and the caddies to be able to do that. So whether there was some sort of government funding programme could be initiated to help stimulate that, we'd be keen to see something along those lines.